Salam, salam. Hi, welcome, salam, salam. AJ Muhammad, welcome. Hello, Sarah, baby X. Hi, hi. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for joining this live chat session. Isaias, hello, Mr. Someone. Hello, AA, hello, hello, brother. Is asked for whom you are working. Nebia Negose from Atlanta. Welcome. Gashaya Tuveldo. Hello, sir. Hello. I am working for all of you. Nahome Asifa. Welcome, Nahome Asifa, one of my regular viewers. Theo Birkot. How is your day? It's fine. How are you? AA, I am happy you are updating us. Thank you, AA. Hapte Gabrasius. Welcome. Theo Birkot. Welcome. Tazabi, one of my regular critics and viewers. Hello, hello Tazabi, welcome. Gishai, it's always good to see you. Thank you. It's always wonderful to talk to you. All of you are great people. I love talking to you. Viva TDF, someone says. Sub-Sahara Post. Hello, thanks for the updates. Sub-Sahara Post, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining. This channel is nothing without you. These updates are nothing without you. Kibrom, Abebe, TLF and Sudan military joined military in Homer. Dudu from Hungary. Welcome, Dudu. Mola Yegzavo, please stop. Faisal Kabadi, my friend, thank you for updating us. Thank you, Faisal Kabadi Farax. Dudu, welcome for joining, Dudu. Someone is saying that he stands with a TDF. Yes, people here stand, some with TDF, some with ENDF. I try to update about developments on both sides. Dana Desta, welcome. University Habera, I am wonder why was African Union keep quiet for a conflict of Tigray. University Habera asked this question, why is African Union quiet? Well, African Union is quiet because Does African Union have any influence to exert some pressure upon Ethiopia or not? This is the most important question because African Union for me is not very powerful body. It's almost toothless. Uh, the chairperson has been re-elected, uh, I think 4 days ago, and he got more than 51 votes out of 53 votes. So it seems that African governments are happy with the way African Union is working. African people might not be satisfied with the working of African Union, but governments are happy. That is why African Union chairperson has been re-elected for another term. And perhaps African Union chairperson wants to please governments of Africa, not the people of Africa. That is why African Union has been almost dysfunctional in Tigray conflict, in resolving Kenya-Somalia conflict, in resolving Ethiopia-Sudan conflict. African Union is nowhere to be seen. Several users have joined: Abele, Mokia, Tedros, Hello, Chapier, Liner, Proud Progressive, Nebio, Tsage, Nahom SFA, Dudu. Welcome all of you. Abe Eyoub. Is the US going to take action? What do you think? Well, US is busy on so many fronts. You see that they are trying to exert pressure upon Myanmar, but Myanmar military is there. Protests are underway in Myanmar, and almost seventh consecutive day of protests in Myanmar. But you see that US has its limitations as well. Kibrom Abebe, Ashu Mintshu, welcome all of you. Welcome for joining. Arage Gabe, you're right. African Union is nowhere. Yes, nowhere. Milaka Tika, hi Milaka Tika. Daniel Leare, I am American. Are US politicians assisting? Which US politicians are helping Tigray? Interesting question. Mehari Moiz, welcome. Musi Moss, welcome. Hassan Hassel, Hiwat Kidano, Berhan Tike, SMN. Well, as regards US officials, US government officials, US senators, US MPs helping Tigray government or TPLF, we haven't seen any development in this regard. Yes, some US senators spoke about human rights abuses in Tigray. They called upon US government to take action against Ethiopian government, but we haven't seen any solid move from US senators, US lawmakers about any action against Ethiopian government in support of Tigray government or TPLF viewers. Baba Mama, Tigray shouldn't depend on international community. Baba Mama says that Tigray should not depend on international community. International community matters, viewers, but I don't think the international community would like to directly intervene in Tigray. I don't see the possibility of international forces entering Tigray. I think if there is any change, it will come from within Tigray, from inside Tigray. Yusuf Gabriel, keep going. Let us know what we don't. Well, it's just sharing of information. I learn from you, from all of you. I learn from you. I try to update you and I learn from you. It's just exchange of information that I do with you. Absalom, US government always wanted to open the horn for for neoliberal policy. CA Hague, free Jawar Mohammed. I did two videos about the imprisonment of Jawar Mohammed. Protests are underway, viewers, in Oromia. Today I uploaded a video about that. Reportedly, security forces have fired as well. It was just aerial firing so far. It has been confirmed. No casualties so far, but reportedly in Oromia, authorities, Oromia forces used force against protesters today, though protests were mostly peaceful. And these protests will gain momentum, you'll see, viewers, with the passage of time. Before June elections, protests will gain momentum. Hunger strike is gaining international recognition, viewers. It is being discussed that high profile Oromo leaders are on hunger strike for the last 10 days. So message is going wide and across about the hunger strike carried out by Oromo political prisoners. Rebecca, Eritrea plus Boko Haram. Yunus Birhane. Muhammad Bare, I am from Somalia. Welcome, Muhammad Bare. Abiy Ahmed. Kibrom Abebe, Winter Kiros, what is your impression of Tigray? What message would you pass to the people of Tigray? Well, people of Tigray are suffering. I mean, they don't have any control over what is happening. What can the people of Tigray do? Of course, they cannot rise they cannot carry out any sort of uprising against Ethiopian National Defense Forces. That they cannot do. They don't have the capacity to do that, viewers. And at the same time, they cannot help Tigray fighters as well. I think the matter is in the hands of Ethiopian National Defense Forces and Tigray Defense Forces. Leaders should decide. People of Tigray can only put pressure upon them, and that can only be done by mobilizing international community. Internet is still cut off in Tigray. People are in need of humanitarian aid. Tens of thousands of people are still in need of humanitarian aid. So people are suffering in such circumstances. What can Tigray's people do? Malice Gidai, Tigray does not need ground troops. Tigray needs American air bombardment on Eritrea to punish the involvement. I don't think that America would like to go so much deep in Tigray that it would carry out aerial bombardment in Tigray. Dibasu Chikol, Winter Cross, one of my regular viewers. Thank you for your answer. Thank you, Winter, for asking this question. Nebio Tsage, what do you say about digital win? Yes, I did a video on that digital warfare activism campaigns are also underway, especially on Twitter, between the supporters of Ethiopian government and Tigray supporters. Viewers, first casualty of war is truth. I have seen that in several previous conflicts that when wars break out, truth is nowhere to be seen. And this is happening on both sides. Both the sides are sharing their propaganda. That is why it becomes sometimes very difficult to get to the facts. Mibrate Birahao, do you think this is a proxy war? Gil Yesh, how close are? Well, TPLF is not fighting a proxy war. Same is the case with the Ethiopian government. This is not proxy war. As I said in two previous live chat sessions, this is basically a political conflict between TPLF and Abiy Ahmed's party, which has turned into, unfortunately, into an armed confrontation. It's not a proxy war. The race mixer. Welcome. Marco Alessandro. Mercato, Ethiopia. Is Sudan working with TPLF forces? Not up till now. We don't have any evidence that Sudan is backing Tigray or TPLF fighters. Sudan is just busy in strengthening its border positions. It's building bridges, it's constructing roads to link Fashaga with the rest of Sudan, with the rest of Al Gaddarif state. It wants to consolidate its defensive and offensive positions, military positions in Al Fashaga. Sudan is not helping Tigray fighters. Do you know any similar case in world like Tigray with so many war crimes? War crimes do happen in wars. But Tigray's conflict is a unique one in the sense that Ethiopian government requested the help of a neighboring country against its own people. That's unique about this conflict. Mel Gab, Mr. Dreamer, which TPLF force? You talk there is no TPLF force. Tigray is clean. So that's your point of view. Tigray is not clean in terms of fighting. Fighting is going on. I'm not saying that. UNHCR has spoken about that. ICRC has spoken about that. Their people are on ground in Tigray. They are saying that fighting is going on. Yes, we can debate, we can discuss about the areas, how much area is under the control of ENDF and how much is being controlled by TDF. That can be debated, but we cannot say that war is over in Tigray. Theo Musashi, Tigray is a new state. Up till now, you know that Tigray leaders have not spoken about independence. Hidmo Tisfai, is it genocide, Tigrayans? Munir Ali, how much they pay you? I am paid by you. Sometimes you pay me in insults, and sometimes you pay me in appreciation. But what matters for me is what you pay. Interesting question we were asked. Let me just recheck it. I lost it. For the DDI, Tigray should declare independence. I responded to it earlier. Tigray leaders are not speaking about independence. Alalta 1. Gil Yaesh. I'll pay my respect. Thank you, Gil Yaesh. Arage Gabe, 80 to 90% of Tigray is inaccessible to aid. What does it mean? It means fighting is going on. Not in 80% of Tigray, but in several parts of Tigray. Fighting is going, especially in central Tigray viewers. Hassan Hassel, welcome. So this war was planned before 2 years. When Ethiopia make peace with Eritrea, their plan was to kill Tigray people. Yes, several people talk about this aspect that Eritrea and Ethiopia, I mean the governments planned this war, but ENDF supporters have another position, a different position about the war. Somalia media, welcome. Sometimes you make fake news from the source, fake news. Well, I don't make fake news, Somali media, but covering such a conflict, it's very difficult. As I told you, the digital war is underway on social media platforms. Internet has been cut off. So it becomes sometimes impossible to get to the truth. That's why sometimes I do make mistakes. I try to correct them. I try to review them. But I don't make any fake video. I have no interest in making fake videos. I try my level best to inform you about what is happening on ground. Sometimes, yes, some mistakes do happen. Golden Water, do you speak Tigrayan or Amharic? No, I don't. Devo, one place. Nebio Sky, Yamin Goitam, Peter Pitte, where do you get your information? Oh, Pete, I get my information from several sources, from ground sources, from internet. And internet is a vast world. Technology matters a lot. I study a lot. Most of the time when I make videos, I inform my sources. I have made several videos in which I informed you about stories done by Reuters, Bloomberg, Washington Post, New York Times, then official claims. So it's a whole lot of work which has so many aspects, and I try in different ways by using communication with people who are on ground, by studying, by making things come together, and by trying to develop an analysis. So I have several sources. I don't rely on one source. RK Salam, hello sir, hello RK. Peace for all. Your comment was auto deleted. Something. Sihai Hog, Matos Raphael. People who are on the ground is not reliable source, sir. Well, which source is reliable if people on ground are not reliable? And viewers, I receive so many mails, so many pictures, videos from you. Uh, uh, Yesterday, someone informed me about Katachorida's tweet, and he said that Katachorida had reappeared, and he was going to appear on a Tigray media network. He shared a tweet. I checked the tweet, but the account from where the tweet was shared, it was fake. It was not Katachorida. So I do receive information from you people, from on ground sources, but then I recheck the information. I try to verify the information received from several sources. Then I speak about it. Dibaso Chikol. My advice to you, Malice Gidai, what do you think about Tigray standing strong against Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somali borrowed forces and UAE drones? Tigray forces are fighting and they are facing more than one enemies, more than one rivals, I would say. So it's not easy for them. So far, they are putting up fight, but they're on the run as well. Their media strategy is very poor. Compare Tigray forces and OLF, Oromo Liberation Army. OLF is sharing pictures, videos about their activities. They are capturing weapons, they are capturing ENDF troops or Oromo regional troops. They're always sharing videos, pictures, regularly updating their supporters. But in the case of Tigray Defense Forces, Tigray fighters, they only share audio statements on DWTV. I think they need to review their strategy. If you just come on, if you just air your message, your audio message on DWTV, and say that that TDF has inflicted heavy losses on ENDF, and ENDF have lost more than 1,000 soldiers, people won't believe it. People will stop believing you. You must provide evidence, some sort of evidence, pictures, videos, statements. Uh, I think OLF is doing much better than TDF. TDF needs to review its media handling. Yes, they're on the run, they're in mountains, no internet in Tigray, but still they'll have to find a way to send a message to their supporters, to the world, in a convincing way, not these audio statements on DWTV. Muhammad Ahmed, Sudan is not DJ Shumai. Abe Selma. Thank you all of you for joining. Abe Selma. Hi, Mr. Nadeem. How do you think the Tigray, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan war will end? Tigray war will go on until Ethiopian government decides to negotiate. This war will go on. HM, thank you for that. You are addressing us always very important and clear information. HM, thank you. AM, why is a lot of dog in the streets of Asmara? Abi Ahmed, I'm trying to read your names. I want to remember you. It becomes easy to communicate if I know you. Hiwat Berhe. Welcome, Hiwat Berhe, one of my regular viewers. Hidom Tisfai. Ezekiel Zinai. Thank you for your honest opinion. Yahweh Zakir. I like your program because of its neutrality. Thank you. Rebecca. Abe SIS war criminal. Your view. I won't comment on that. Hiwat Birhe. Thank you. Thank you, Hiwat. Muhammad Ahmad. Sir, please, can you make a video on Egypt influence? I spoke about Egypt's influence on Sudan in the ongoing fighting between Sudan and Ethiopia. Ashnafi Zavade, hi. Hi, Ashnafi. Dibaso Chikol, thank you. Jabir Siraj, what do you think? And other Srebrenica coming in Tigray. I think you're talking about Yugoslavia and genocide there. Well, it's an interesting question. Someone asked me this question before. Genocide. Can we say that genocide is being committed in Tigray? Well, I don't think so. Genocide has a very high criteria. I mean, if you want to establish that genocide is happening in an area, criteria for that is very high. Yes, human rights abuses are being committed. Civilians have been killed in crossfire, in artillery strikes. Civilians could die because of non-availability of humanitarian aid. It can happen, but we cannot say that Ethiopian government is involved in genocide in Tigray. Tigray supporters might not like my comments, but I am not convinced that Ethiopian government is committing genocide in Tigray. Wobo, TPLF started war with their own federal troops. Tizabi, what do you think? Ethiopia restored diplomacy against Sudanese invasion. Why do you think Ethiopia resorted to diplomacy against Sudanese invasion? Well, Ethiopia is not going for diplomacy to resolve its dispute with Sudan. Ethiopian forces, Ethiopian militia members are carrying out small scale attacks. Almost every day, Ethiopian forces carry out one or two attacks on Sudanese forces. But Ethiopia is not declaring war on Sudan, which it cannot because right now Ethiopian forces are preoccupied in Tigray. Ethiopia is not going for negotiations. Ethiopia wants Sudan to withdraw, then negotiations. Sudan does not want to withdraw its forces. So there is no talk of negotiations now. Small scale fighting is underway. And Sudanese side is making gains. Only 3 settlements are now being controlled by Ethiopian forces on Ethiopia-Sudan border. Sudan is definitely making gains, and Ethiopia, because it's caught up in Tigray, it cannot do much, I think. Yasin Usman, thank you for joining, one of my regular viewers. Johannes Kirostos, do you think the election held by TPLF was right? Well, Ethiopian government rejected that election, and but it was definitely election. Election was held, and now it's a constitutional debate that was TPLF in opposition legally to conduct the election or not. Knafe Dareba, Yassin Usman, it's Ethiopian government, it's a failure. Rebecca Iaso, no more Ethiopia. Your comments. Vadi Tigray, TPLF already dead. TPLF is not dead. TPLF members are there. TPLF party is there. You will see the TPLF will regain its strength. Marco Alessandro, genocide is only the small thing of the Amharas and Shabia rulers. I responded to genocide question earlier. Orthodox, Abiy Ahmed, he is commenting about Abiy Ahmed. I think comments are getting auto-deleted. Vovo, TPLF, Achilles heel is Volkite. Sihai Hag, Hivot Berhe. Matthios Rafael Ligos, there is no genocide. I agree with you. Kidos Mercaso, what happened on front of Vakro Rikrik? Do you think there is chance US or Russia could intervene directly? Well, Russia has not spoken about Tigray conflict openly so far. They are interested in a naval base in Sudan, but Russians have not spoken about Tigray conflict. America won't involve directly. America has withdrawn its troops from Somalia, and so far Joe Biden administration has not undone the decision made by Donald Trump about withdrawal of troops from Somalia. So I don't think that America would send troops here in Tigray. Meles Gidai is making several comments. Sometimes it becomes difficult for other users to ask questions if you keep on sending so many comments. Mercato Ethiopia, what do you think TDF final offensive this Sunday? TDF has announced new offensives. They're saying that just like they did Siam Mesfin operation, they'll conduct some other operations too. But I said earlier that they must show some evidence as well. Audio statements won't serve the purpose. Tizabi, you are speaking so much. Why do you think Ethiopia resorted to diplomacy against Sudanese invasion? I think I responded to it earlier. My laptop is stuck here. Let me refresh it. Johannes Kirostos, interesting question. How do you see the country situation going before elections? Well, you see that in Tigray conflict underway, in Oromia protests are continuing, which will gain pace before elections. Ethiopia has announced to start second filling in July as well. Before elections, you will see a lot of things happening in Ethiopia. Different players will try to put pressure upon Ethiopian government. I personally think that Ethiopian government will have to make compromises. It cannot go on like this. War in Tigray, Oromo leaders in Kaliti prison, fighting on Ethiopia Sudan border, unrest in Benishangul Gumuz, and fair elections. I think these things do not match. Ethiopian government will have to do something. They have to revisit their strategy. International pressure will also come upon Ethiopian government regarding Oromo leaders who lead parties, political parties. Jawar Muhammad might be released in the coming months before election, I think. Malas Gidai, you have sent several comments, you have asked several questions. Hudan M. Tigray will prevail. Sub-Sahara Post, have you seen the videos of civilians killed? Yes, I have seen videos. I cannot share those videos on my channel. I have seen several videos. I acknowledge that civilians are being killed, but genocide has a different pattern. Killing of civilians does not always mean that genocide is being committed. Shivit Tesfaye, do you think the war is mostly with Eritrea? Eritrea is a key player in this war. Without Eritrea, Ethiopian National Defense Forces will definitely be weakened. Samuel Fitwi, welcome Samuel Fitwi. Daoud Fasiha, DJ Akilo, Tilaye. Hundreds of viewers have joined this live chat. Thank you all of you. Hassan Hassel, you are commenting, sending very long comments. I would request my viewers, please, one viewer, one question. It becomes easy for me to respond, and it becomes easy for others to participate as well. Sigmo Stama, where are you from? I replied to that in my first live chat session. Hagos Gabriel Gizaber. Samuel Fitwi, do you think America will take a military action against Eritrea? No, I don't think so. US won't take military action against Eritrea. 2050, does Ethiopia has sovereignty now? Eritrean troops are in Tigray, and you're asking question about does Ethiopia have sovereignty now? Kidoso Mercaso, HWR says it's genocide. No, I don't think so. No international body has said that genocide is being committed in Tigray. Yes, they're saying that human rights abuses are being committed, rape is also being committed, but no one is saying that there is a very tangible pattern of genocide seen in Tigray. Daud Fasiha, peace for all. Beauty Archives, welcome Beauty Archives, one of my regular viewers. Fritty, Daud Fasiha. So what UN and America can really do? Yes, this is the question that we should discuss. What UN and US can do? Well, viewers, economic sanctions matter a lot. You see in the case of Iran that Iran had to roll back its nuclear program to some extent because harsh sanctions were imposed by US, and sanctions have been there for several years. Economic sanctions matter a lot, though they can also affect civilians as well, masses as well. But I think economic sanctions is the only way to put pressure upon Ethiopian government. And I don't see the possibility of UN or US starting a military campaign in Tigray. But through UN, through economic sanctions, pressure can be put upon Ethiopian government. David Tobias, hi, my views. What is the overall strategy of Ethiopian and Eritrean governments about Tigray, I think you're asking. Mona S. Desta, Kidoso Mercaso, Del, it's genocide. Well, I responded to it earlier. Yes, it's your opinion. I do not agree that Ethiopian government is committing genocide in Tigray. Fritty, thank you. No genocide. CR7 soccer. ENDF is weak. Well, ENDF, yes, they are suffering losses. But Ethiopian government is a government. It has huge force. It has regional backing as well. So we can't say that Ethiopian and that ENDF resources will be exhausted in days. No, they can fall back on their resources. ENDF. Cabrat Gidai, do you think peace for all? Please, you are sending so many comments and they are getting auto deleted. Noor Ahmed Ali, hi to all. Noor Ahmed Ali, thank you for joining. Girmay L, Birhane Misgabe, always keep the faith. Hodam M, Mona, always keep the faith. Why do you think leaders in East Africa always want to stay in power forever? Yeah, why? Interesting question. And this is what is happening in East Africa, that whoever takes power wants to remain in power for good. Why is that? Well, it's because that main reason behind is the lack of systems. There are no institutions which can put pressure upon individuals who are in power. Democracy is not in its true form in East Africa. Poverty here, dire need of democratic reforms, mobilization of masses, and political education is required. So many things need to be done in East African countries, and that is why the leaders exploit the masses. They exploit poverty, they exploit weak institutions, and they want to remain in power. People will have to rise for their rights. That's the only way. UN is not going to make Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, or any East African country democratic. Democratic change will come from within, and struggle will be started by the people of East African countries. Samuel Fitwai, Samuel, you have asked several questions before. What do you make of Uae withdraw from Eritrea? Yes, Samuel, interesting question. Why is Uae withdrawing from Eritrea? Satellite images have confirmed that Uae is withdrawing from Assab military base. Their fighter jets have left, their drones have left, and they're definitely withdrawing. I think the new Biden administration is one of the factors behind the withdrawal of UAE. UAE wants to show to the world that it's neutral, it's not part of war in Yemen, in Tigray, in any part of East Africa. Estefanos Gidai, Dimitri, African interest. African interest asks, if leading nations won't take direct action, would you say might will be right when it comes to Ethiopia? Well, Ethiopians will have to take action. Don't think that UN or US will come. You have the power of vote. You have There is no power stronger than the power of masses. No military can stand the power of masses. People, if they know their power, no government can subdue them. It's that there is lack of genuine leadership in East African countries, leadership which can mobilize people, which can take people out of this miserable condition in which people are suffering. And leaders take office, leaders take power, and then they decide to remain in power for good. Winter chaos, may God heal the world. There's too much suffering. 47 minutes have passed. It was a wonderful session. Viewers, let me now sum up this week, ongoing week, about what happened in Tigray upon Ethiopia, Eritrea, Ethiopia Sudan border. Let me sum up this week for you. Firstly, viewers, most of the fighting in Tigray has been centered in central Tigray. We saw in several claims and counterclaims by ENDF and Tigray Defense Forces that fighting has been centered in central Tigray in the ongoing week. TPLF are making tall claims, but their claims are getting taller. Evidence is becoming slimmer. Even their supporters are now raising questions about their claims. Secondly, viewers, Ethiopia Sudan border conflict, fighting is going on there. Ethiopia is not acknowledging that, but Sudan is issuing statements on daily basis. Sudanese media is covering the war on on Ethiopia Sudan border. Sudanese forces are making gains, and Fashaga al-Kubra, entire Fashaga al-Kubra is under the control of Sudanese forces. Only 3 points in Fashaga al-Sugra are remaining, which are being controlled by Ethiopian forces. Sudan is definitely making gains. Then we have Somalia. In Somalia, political deadlock is underway between Jubaland, Puntland, and opposition groups and Somali government. There was deadlock about next election meeting. Somali government proposed meeting in Garowe city of Puntland. Puntland refused then, and Puntland and Jubaland suggested that meeting should be held in Mogadishu. But now it has been announced that the meeting would be held in Bedowa. So in Bedowa on the 15th of February, election meeting is going to be held between Somali government and regional states about the format of next elections. Let's see what happens there, but political instability is there in Somalia. Lastly, there's Oromia. Protests are underway in Oromia. Protests are gaining pace. OLF and OFC, Oromia political parties, called for protests. And today, on Saturday, protests were carried out by students, especially in Oromia, in several parts of Oromia. And reportedly, security forces have used some force as well against protesters. Oromia protests are expected to gain pace and momentum in the coming days. So these are 4 observations about the ongoing week about this region, viewers. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for joining. Hundreds of viewers joined this live chat session. I tried my best to respond to your questions, but some viewers ask more than one questions. They comment, they send several comments. That is why it becomes impossible to respond to all of you viewers. Thank you, all of you. Thank you for joining. See you in next live chat session. Thank you. Bye bye.